feeling in the locker room? Did Patricia get a little hyped, or he doesn't do that?
You got to ask him that. It felt good, though, to get a win. We're here to work hard. We're here to win games. That's all we're trying to do. Obviously, this is a good step, but we got to go out there and continue to build. We've got to look at the tape, got to find ways to be better, myself included. So we've just got to continue to build on it and go from there.
And that's your Detroit Lions coming through with the victory.
Let's go, baby! That's a Lions victory.
Joey get a little hype here
I don't
early
think I've ever
on
seen
the
you
show.
Get that excited about
Hey, I've
anything.
been-
I've been holding that in since Sunday night, so
Joey's
that was just for
ready to
you
go.
guys.
I mean,
You reacted
After
like
you
that.
doubters, Malik was kind of with me. I don't know.
No,
if
he
was
wasn't.
I don't know if he was
I said,
completely
what
on
if
board.
I said, what if there was a chance? That's all I
but
said.
at least he said, "What if there's a chance?"
I said there was no
Where Chris
chance.
thought they were going to be like the Jets game,
Yeah,
and they were going to get blown out.
I did.
Joey, you reacted like that game won the division for him.
I agree. Yes.
That got them into the playoffs.
It definitely helps.
I'll say this: I ain't picking them again this week too.
Come on, man.
I got no faith in this
They're
team.
playing
man.
the lowly
I don't
Dallas
have faith in the
Cowboys.
Cowboys
In
either,
Dallas?
so I might pick the Lions.
in Dallas.
Dallas
though,
is garbage.
They don't have the same home field.
there was something up with the Patriots.
Sean Lee is probably going to be out for that game.
I don't care. The Lions make everyone look good.
Not
Dak's
the
gonna-
Patriots. They made the Patriots look bad. One of the worst times that the Patriots have ever looked.
We'll see. I still think the Lions are a 6-win team at best. So we'll find out. I'll give Joey the floor once we get into Lions talk because he deserves it. He called it. It's his thing. So I'm gonna let him go. But welcome in September 25th, 2018. Views from the sideline. Lots of stuff happened since we've been off the air. Jimmy Butler's on the trade block. Pistons listed as an interested team in that party. State got a big win over Indiana. U of M took care of business. So we got a lot of stuff to get into along with our Atlantic Division prediction. So we'll get into that. Let's start off with football. We'll start with Michigan State. They won 35-21 over Indiana in Indiana. What they should have done, but they let that team kind of hang on a little too long so they don't let their backups kind of get reps and take starters out of the game. And to me, that's kind of an issue. It's kind of been an issue all year. What do you think, Malik?
Yeah, in that fourth quarter, they were up 28-21, and it looked like if Indiana made one play, it could have changed everything. But that Michigan State defense is still good. They were able to hold Indiana off, and the offense was able to make another big play to stretch it out to 35-21. But still lingering problems, still kind of weak offensive line. L.J. Scott still hasn't gotten it going. Brian Lewerke and those receivers have pretty much been saving games for that team. And I don't think you can rely on that all season. There are big games coming up the next 3 or 4 weeks, and they really got to make a lot of progress if they want to contend in this division, which is the toughest division in college football.
Definitely.
The Big Ten East.
Definitely. Joe, what'd you see?
Same Michigan State stuff.
Yeah.
Week in and week out, and they're not getting any better. And I'm starting to
thing.
get concerned. I don't know if they're going to be able to turn it around. I don't know if they're going to be able to get over the hump because they're playing way too close with these technically lower level teams. Obviously, they're still very good programs, but when you get into the tougher part of their schedule, I think they're going to struggle heavily because they don't have a run game. They don't have an offensive line, and they have to just pass and rely on the receivers way too much. The defense, like I've said multiple times, is not as good as it once was. So they can't rely on the defense to make multiple stops time and time again. I just don't see this Michigan State team doing anything this year, which is just unfortunate.
Yeah, and they
So-
play Central Michigan next week, which
Central Michigan isn't really isn't a good team.
Especially this
Really
year.
isn't a good team.
Especially this year.
So they better not sleepwalk, because if they look bad against Central,
then they got Northwestern after that too. Then Penn State and then Michigan. So
They still have time.
yeah, and Central's a good game to kind of get yourself ready to go. Northwestern, you gotta be ready for them. You gotta be ready for them. Penn State's gonna be a tough game, and then Michigan is Michigan. So State's really got to kind of start to kick it into high gear as they kind of get into the meat of their schedule. Let's switch gears to the Wolverines. They took care of business, 56-10 over Nebraska, which, wow, was I wrong. I was talking about how Nebraska was probably going to give them some trouble, and I think I had it like a 14-point game.
I feel like that's the theme for this week.
This week was not, especially football-wise, it was not a good weekend for me,
But
prediction-wise.
listen, I can't blame you for that because they have a very promising young true freshman quarterback who came in injured and honestly probably shouldn't have played. They have talent. They're just not a complete team yet.
And they don't buy into their system, too.
They got new guys. They have young guys. They have older guys that haven't bought into the Scott Frost system. And that mix really doesn't make for a good football team.
I think they've given up on the year already. They don't look good. They gave up on that game. There's a lot of players just not buying in and not buying into that system.
Scott Frost is going to have to get some of those guys out. The older guys that don't want to buy in and don't really know what a winning culture is.
Yeah.
Those guys have to leave. He has to mold those new guys. I still trust Scott Frost. It'll take a while, but I still trust him to build that program.
Oh, definitely. I'm with you on that. It's just this is kind of a throwaway year for you for Nebraska. And I'm sure they'll turn it around. It'll just take a little bit. From the Michigan side of things, really good to see them play a complete game. They win this one by 46 points. That's what you want to see. They're making steps in the right direction week after week after week.
They're making big-time progress.
Yeah, and when I was very much in doubt about Michigan after week 1, they're starting to gain my trust back a little bit. Again, it is against lesser opponents, and I need to be convinced when they play against the Michigan States, the Penn States, all that. But it's good to see, and it's a great step in the right direction. You could be like Michigan State and not making the steps in the right direction. So it's good to see Michigan. What did you see from that game, Malik?
Even though, like you said, they've been playing lesser competition. There were times last year their O-line didn't look good against Air Force. Their O-line didn't look good against Cincinnati. And it showed for the rest of the year. There were a few games where the O-line played good, but they didn't look good in several games against lesser competition. But they've been making serious progress ever since Notre Dame. And this is probably the best offensive line performance I've seen in a few years for Michigan overall. They manhandled Nebraska on the offensive and defensive lines. They looked faster. They looked more prepared. Jim Harbaugh had them ready. And they destroyed a team they were supposed to destroy, and that's what's expected of Michigan football. And I'm happy to see them put together a game.
Definitely.
Like that.
Who do they play next week? You know off the top of your head, Malik?
At Northwestern.
At Northwestern. So that'll be it should be a win.
Yeah.
But
breaking news: Northwestern's running back retired due to he retired due to a neck condition. Not life threatening, but if he kept playing, it could have messed up his spine.
That just happened right now.
A few days ago.
Oh, okay.
Their starting running back retired, which
Wow.
is not a good thing at all.
No,
it's not a good thing at all.
No, that's rough.
It might hurt
we wish him the
Northwestern
best.
a little.
Well, we wish him the best too. You never want to see players retire out due to injury. At least he kind of got out ahead essentially.
Exactly.
But yeah, Joe, what'd you see from Michigan last week?
Their offense is really churning right now, which is a good sign. The only concern that I might have for Michigan moving forward is their defense hasn't necessarily been tested yet. So that we will have to wait and see till they get to the bigger games. And obviously, like, their biggest concern going into the season was their offense. So to get that out of the way is good to see. To see that Shea Patterson is developing chemistry with these wide receivers. And yeah, I think the defense is just the biggest question mark because, like I said, we haven't seen them in like super heavy competition besides the Notre Dame game, which they played pretty good, but not great. So for them to actually make a big run, their defense is going to really have to show up and show that they're one of the better defenses in the country.
Yeah. So, I think we can summarize this the best. They took care of business. And they're ready to go against Northwestern next week, which should be a win, and kind of gets them ready for that big meat of the schedule. Michigan State, you got Ohio State too. So you got to be prepared for those guys. Now, Malik and I have to pay our dues. Before I give Joey the floor, we talk some Detroit Lions. I want to give him a round of applause.
Big time win. Serious big time win.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yep. Everyone here at ONTV is giving Joey his props. I'm going to let you break this one down for us. Lions won 26-10. Sunday Night Football at Ford Field. I had absolutely zero faith. You can't measure it. Malik maybe had 1 or 2% faith. What did you see in this team, Joe? What did you see? Why did you pick them?
I saw a complete game out of the Detroit Lions.
Did you?
You You almost never
that's-
you almost never
that's
see
what
that.
You saw.
You almost never see that.
You saw this O-line just turning into monsters for one special night.
No. What I'm saying is that in this game, I saw a complete Lions team.
I was asking, what did you see to make that pick? But yeah.
What did I see to make that pick?
Yeah, beforehand.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I just had a feeling. You know, it's one of those Joey feelings. You know, Michigan in the NCAA tournament.
I wish I had a siren every time he says.
Exactly.
It's just one of those Joey feelings. Have that ready
Michigan
to go.
in the NCAA tournament. New Orleans Pelicans in the NBA playoffs. I don't know why you guys keep doubting me. Like, come on,
You
can I
won't
get
be
a
right every
can I
time.
get a little respect on my name
You
here?
won't
But-
be right.
Sometimes you take it too far. Is the thing.
It's
You took the
respect for my
Pelicans hype
name.
too far.
Joey's taking the show over, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey,
he'll
please
be
do.
hosting from now
I
on.
want Joey to be this inspired.
This
every
is
week.
Joey's corner.
All I'm saying is I told y'all. And I think I won in picks as well.
Yeah, we'll summarize that once we break down
good
the
week.
lines.
Very good week.
I just the biggest feeling though was that the Lions were underperforming so much. Obviously, the first game of the season was a fluke. I never expected them to get blown out like that by the
Yeah,
Jets
I believe that
of
too.
all teams. And then San Francisco, yes, they came out very poorly, but the second half they brought it back a
The
little
fourth
bit.
quarter was when they turned.
Right. And they started to look like maybe they could make one of those Stafford miracle comebacks. And Stafford's the type of guy that he's going to work hard every week and get his guys ready. And I figured there's got to be upside to this. And like we talked about last week, Patricia going up against Belichick was kind of a big deal. And the greatest thing that came out of this game is post-game in the locker room, Patricia and the Lions team looked like they were together, which was a big question mark in the first couple weeks, saying that there's a lot of distance between players and coach. And at the end of that game, everybody looked, obviously when you're having a win, when you have a win like that over the Patriots in a dominating fashion, you're going to be excited. There's going to be a lot of high energy, but it just looked like everybody was together. The running backs were all super excited. Not to mention, we finally have a 100-yard rusher since in 5 years.
Come on, it's 101 yards.
It doesn't matter. Like
5 years.
it was on
man.
It was on 16
5
carries.
years.
It was on 16 carries, which is very efficient.
It's efficient, but like
that O line was
just-
creating big holes, but once he got to those linebackers and DBs, he was shaking them out of the cleats.
All right, he's
He
showing
had,
why
a call,
we-
he did have a
moves.
call. He had a couple good runs.
he's
I
showing
know.
why we went and got him, which is good. That's a good sign.
I still think LeGarrette Blount looks like he's slowing down and it's
Yeah.
coming to the end.
I would like
He looks a lot slower.
Keep
I would like the Lions to use him more closer to the goal line. I feel like they're
Yeah.
trying to use him too
Third
early.
down guy.
Yeah, I
Short-
feel like they're
short
trying to use him
routes.
too early in downs recently. He had 16 carries for 48 yards, I believe. So he was pretty inefficient again. But they stuck to it. They ran the ball 33 times. So they're trying to push this run game, which it seems like it's working out. Stafford's getting in tune with Marvin Jones again and Kenny Galladay. They're looking very good.
Kenny Galladay, sorry to interrupt you, made an incredible catch in the end zone. That thing, he was out of bounds by a half of an inch, but that dude's got some
Yeah.
talent.
Yeah, he looks
He's
like
long,
he's gonna be
very
special.
athletic. Yeah.
he looks like he's started to take over
Yeah.
Marvin Jones in the end zone for Stafford. That
I think so,
Stafford
too.
Still
It's that
targets
connection.
him
Yep.
a little bit more than Marvin Jones now.
And the other big key for me was Stafford looked like Stafford this week.
Yeah.
Week 1 and week 2, you can't say that. He looked terrible.
Right.
Actually, let me rephrase that. He looked terrible week 1. He looked mediocre week 2. He looked like Stafford last week, and that's why the Lions won. You
Right.
need to have him playing at his best football for this team to be successful. Simple and plain. If he's not throwing the ball accurately or hitting his guys downfield, it cramps out the run game. The O-line starts to not play as well. Everything kind of hinders on how Stafford plays.
You got to
So-
get him into a rhythm.
That's it.
You can't just run. Okay, Matt, throw it deep. Like
And that's another issue with the Jim Bob Cooter offense. It's very simple and plain. Run. All right, Stafford, just let
Yeah.
one loose. So it was good to see a little bit of a diversity in the play calling, essentially. But yeah, I'd like to see Stafford kind of carry this on to next week to Dallas.
And not to mention the defense really stepped up. There was a part of the game, I can't even remember when, but they forced 3 straight 3-and-outs. They held Tom Brady to 113 passing yards, which is insane. It's one of Tom Brady's worst games ever
Talk
in his
about
career.
a Patriots team with no motivation. When was the last
Right.
time you saw something like that?
Yeah.
And
They look slow. They
and
looked
it's
out of-
weird
yeah.
because a lot of the times, like everybody's saying, okay, the Patriots are definitely injury ridden, especially in the wide receiver position.
I think they had 3 active receivers. I
right,
think.
and part of it is Julian Edelman being suspended, so that's his own fault. But the Patriots are always known for being efficient with what they have. And Chris Hogan has been a solid receiver for them, and he played in that game. Gronk played in that game. Obviously, we were able to double team Gronk a lot more, but you still expect more out of the Patriots. So I take a little bit of this game with a little bit of a grain of salt, just because the Patriots played so bad that's a kind of fluke for them. But like I said, I like that the Lions won in all aspects of the game, and they led the entire game. It wasn't like a Lions comeback type of victory. It was a solid win by the Lions.
Yeah, credit to Matt Patricia, really. Credit to that O-line. Jim Bob Cooter was a bit better this game. Matt Prater, luckily we have one of the best kickers in the league. So
Yeah.
when there are 3 and outs, Matt Prater can save a drive.
That was another
But-
fluke of the first game against the Jets. He missed some field goals.
Yeah.
And that's not Matt Prater. So to get everybody back on track, I think Lions can finally get back in the right direction. Still don't know how their season is going to turn out,
Exactly.
but the Vikings lost. The Packers aren't looking as good as people thought.
Packers lost 2 though.
The Bears are winning games.
The
but
Bears,
Did the Bears win this week
yeah,
too?
they made a
It's how
comeback.
they're winning games.
I
That's
swear.
so weird.
So the Cardinals were up 14-0
Yeah,
on
that's
them,
what I saw.
and I didn't even look at any more updates because I was like, oh wow, the
Yeah.
Cardinals are going to
And
upset
the
the
Bears
Bears,
defense locked in.
and they made a little bit of a
And
comeback.
the Cardinals put in Josh Rosen with 4 minutes left in the 4th quarter.
Really?
That was his first time playing.
And he threw a
That-
pick, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's tough for a rookie
Exactly.
quarterback. Man.
Yeah.
That's
not
tough.
a good position.
But
That's some bad
when you have
coaching.
Sam Bradford, what else are you going to do?
Still 4 minutes left though. Sometimes you just gotta let Sam finish it out. I mean,
Yeah.
he's had the experience. You have a better chance of Sam Bradford pulling out a win there.
Probably in that situation. yeah.
That's what I'm saying. In that situation.
Right.
Let's transition into our NFL picks. Last week, standings after week 1. Joey with 9 correct picks. Malik, second place with 7. I'm a lowly 4.
Rough week.
Correct. Yeah, it was a rough week. It was a rough week.
Yeah.
Let's get right into it. Vikings at Rams. Joey, we're going you first.
Vikings at Rams. I think you have to keep riding the Rams because the Vikings have
I mean, you're Nostradamus
been
on
getting
this show, so
thrashed lately.
you make the pick. I gotta follow you.
So I'm going with the Rams.
What you got, Malik?
Joey, do you really think that Vikings team that played the Bills, I think that was a one-off. Really.
I mean,
I
they've
think-
had 2 straight games of not having very good defense, and the Rams' offense is much better than the Bills,
The Vikings played good against the Packers offensively.
right?
The defense was fantastic in week 1. I don't think they're falling apart as a team.
Malik, you picking Minnesota?
Not there yet. I just think that game was a one-off. You have a tie against the Packers. You thoroughly beat the 49ers. They didn't really know what was coming with Josh Allen. I think they were looking ahead to the Rams, really. They didn't think the Bills are really going to do anything, and they just got caught off guard. I don't think this is going to be a blowout.
And now they're going to lose another. I don't think it's going to be a blowout either, but the Rams have a better defense than the Vikings.
The Rams have a really good team, but they've also played some really bad teams.
Correct.
This is
The
going to
Chargers are a good team, though.
be
They are a good team.
This is going to be. That's why I thought Philip might pull it out, but
What,
it's going
you
to be a
lock it
really,
in?
really, really close game.
Lock it in,
I'm
Malik.
trying to
Come
see what
on.
your
Really
pick
close
is.
game.
Lock it in.
Todd Gurley.
Hold on, Joe.
I'm taking the Rams.
Oh my
If
That's what
it
I
was
thought.
in Minnesota, I think I'd take the Vikings. But with it being in LA, got to take the Rams. Jared Goff is just
Here's the
firing
thing.
at all cylinders right
Every time we pick in unison, we're wrong. And my initial
All
pick
right, so
is
you
the
got to
Rams.
go differently. So we
I'm
can
going
be right.
and I got 4 wins.
You got to take the loss for
I got.
us.
I'm taking the Vikes. Give me the Vikes.
now. Watch this.
Unfortunately,
This is going to be Chris's week. Just
I hope
watch.
so. I need it.
Nah,
I need it.
Don't worry about it.
I mean, I beat Joey in picks all the time.
We're fine.
Every season.
Joey, if you don't have
Every
any feelings
season.
this week, this might be Chris's week.
Then we got the Lions at the Cowboys.
Just chalk me up. You guys know.
Joey's going Dallas.
The confidence, man.
Detroit. What you got, Malik?
Ezekiel Elliott is the
Because
only concern in that game.
in the past few years, the Lions always seem to have some spectacular either comeback or just a spectacular overall game against the Cowboys. Remember,
It's
when
because of the playoff game.
they made that great.
That's why.
They made that great comeback in Dallas. I think it was 2012 or 2013. Stafford just unleashes the pass game on Dallas here. The game where Des Bryant was screaming at his coaches on the sidelines. It's just something about the Lions. They always show up to play against the Cowboys. And the
Because they got gypped by the Cowboys in the playoffs.
The Cowboys look flat right now.
What you got, Malik?
Dak Prescott looks The defense looks okay. I'm taking the Lions in Dallas to win.
Lock me in Dallas.
They don't have any receivers. They're not going to have Sean Lee in this game.
Dak Prescott isn't confident enough. Right?
Ezekiel Elliott is the only thing that concerns me in this game, and they could lock that up.
Give me Dallas. Zeke's
right.
going to run for 150 plus yards.
That's a real bold statement.
150 plus. He's going to destroy that Lions D.
Might give you an extra point if you get that right.
Thank you. New York Jets at Jacksonville. I'm a Jets fan, and I ain't picking the Jets. Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars. What you got, Joe?
I almost want to be crazy on this one.
Pick my
Jacksonville's
Jets.
getting a little banged up.
Pick my Jets, please.
But Blake Bortles is playing pretty good right now, actually.
The
So
Jets. I
we're
need
going
it.
with Jacksonville.
What you got, Malik? Please pick Jacksonville so Jets
This
win.
game seems like a setup.
I know.
It
that's
really
what I'm saying.
seems like a setup.
Malik.
This feels like Bills versus Vikings last week.
What you got?
This seems like a setup.
Come
but
on.
the Jaguars are a much better team.
So you're picking
They're
it-
so
yeah,
much better.
yeah,
I
you're-
have to take the Jaguars.
All right, cool.
I think
Jets
they're-
are winning this week.
I think their defense is going to win.
Sam Darnold won't be unexpected. That's the thing. Jacksonville knows how to game plan against Sam Darnold, and Jacksonville's defense is just.
And Darnold's been throwing
So much
picks
better,
ever
yeah.
since week 1.
Now this is
he's a turnover machine.
Oh yeah, and we knew that coming out of college he was a turnover machine. This game might be my most interesting game of this weekend. The Miami Dolphins at New England. New England's kind of in a little bit of a lull here. We saw they didn't have that juice against the Lions. Miami's riding hot. They're 3-0.
They can take over the division right here.
They
right
can
now.
take over the division, like Joe said, right here, right now, in New England. Do you have faith in Ryan Tannehill? Joey.
Is Ryan Tannehill elite, Joey?
No.
Okay, wait, what you
But
pick,
I'm
though?
riding the wave that the Dolphins are on.
You're taking the Dolphins.
We're going with Miami.
What do you got,
An
Malik?
old favorite.
Patriots.
Thank you.
Listen, Ronnie Brown isn't running the Wildcat. This isn't a magical
If it was-
Dolphins team to me right now.
If it was in Miami,
They're
I'd
making
probably pick Miami.
They're making some fun plays
Edelman
though.
is back, isn't he?
They're doing some fun plays. No, I think he's suspended
four.
one more.
Oh no, it is
I think
4
he's-
games.
he's
suspended
suspended
4
four.
games. Yeah.
Josh Gordon may play, but in New England,
But he won't be 100%.
New England has ruled that division for over almost 15 years now. Miami walking into New England usually doesn't work.
Well,
Stuff
here's
like
the thing, Malik.
stuff like the Wildcat offense is what wins in New England when Miami comes.
It's a new age in sports.
Hey, Miami
It
is.
is.
Did you see
Wait.
their like triple option
Yeah, I saw
pass thing last week?
I don't think that's going to become
I'm
the
just
new
I'm
niche.
just saying they're
the
not
Wildcat
scared.
took over an entire season.
They're not scared.
that. All right.
They're not scared, but I've never seen the Patriots look very bad 2 weeks in a row.
That's why. Yep, that's what I'm going with. New England. Philadelphia at Tennessee. I'm gonna lock in these Eagles. I mean, Carson Wentz was a little bit rusty coming back, but I got faith in
Is
Philadelphia.
it in Tennessee or in
It's
Philadelphia?
in Tennessee.
I think Jay Ajayi will be back.
Isn't
for that
Tennessee
game.
undefeated right now?
No, I think they're 2-1.
They're 2-1.
Yeah.
Okay.
They won last weekend.
Yeah, they're 2-1.
I think Carson Wentz still might show some rust.
Hey,
And
please
can't
pick the
remember if I
Titans.
picked-
Tennessee has been playing some really good defense. And I'm taking Philadelphia.
Joe, what you
I'm
got?
taking Philly.
Did you say Philadelphia?
No.
Sometimes you got to go against your pick because
I'm gonna go with Tennessee. I'm gonna
Okay.
be the Tennessee guy.
And then we got Houston Texans at Indianapolis Colts. I was hurt by this last loss by the Colts because I picked them to win. They looked good. I thought Andrew Luck was going to pull it out. And no, but it's a new week. I'm still picking the Colts.
Oh my gosh.
I'm still picking them. It's in Indianapolis. I'm taking the Colts. Joe?
I thought you were trying to get better at your picks this week.
Well, I got to pick
Texans.
differences. I got to pick differences.
I guess that's true. I can respect
Malik?
that.
for some odd reason that Texans defense hasn't looked as scary as they have the past 4 or 5 years. Deshaun Watson is playing solid. but he's not showing those special signs he had last year, which he's coming off an injury.
Right. Still
I
getting
think-
warmed up.
Do the Texans have a win yet? Are they winless?
No, didn't they win last weekend? Oh,
You got it,
jeez.
Joe?
They
You got it,
lost. I
Joe?
think they lost at home last
I'm
week.
trying to look.
You don't have the information at hand, so you have to make a decision.
Well,
Malik.
I had the Lions game pulled up, so that's why.
This week is a statement win by the Texans, letting
Oh
everybody
yeah,
know
they
this.
lost to the Giants last week. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Oh, yeah,
0-3. They're 0-3.
You're taking the
They're
Texans?
0-3. I think the Texans finally get a win and make everybody just wake up and
All right, good.
show
I'm
them
glad.
we're still here.
That's another win for me.
We're still
I
here.
appreciate that. Appreciate that, guys. Buffalo at Green Bay. Ain't no way I'm picking Buffalo.
Ain't no way.
Ain't
Not
no
riding.
way.
You're not riding the
Give me
Josh
Green
Allen
Bay.
hype
No
train.
way.
And I'm gonna do this for you guys too. Green Bay, Green Bay.
What if I wanted Buffalo?
I know you don't. Moving on.
What if you
Tampa
wanted
Bay
Buffalo?
at Chicago.
Tampa Bay.
Malik,
Chicago's
but
finally going to
before
have
we
a
get to
tougher
this,
matchup.
I think I'm giving up on Kelvin Benjamin. He just doesn't.
Yeah, I don't
have
think he
it
has
to
it.
me.
Yeah, I agree with you. He has all.
Not
He had
good
all
route-
the physical
Not a
attributes.
good route runner. He dropped two
Yeah.
wide open passes last week.
He's like Ebron, essentially for his position. He's got good physical attributes.
Hey,
Ebron's
Ebron's
been
playing
looking-
yeah, he's playing pretty good.
He's
Hey,
look
when
good
Ebron
Andrew
does
Luck in
when
Indianapolis.
Ebron does it for a whole season, then maybe I'll change my
Good in them
stance on
all
him.
white uniforms. Tampa Bay, Chicago.
Yeah.
Is it in Chicago?
Yep.
Give me the Bears. Jameis Winston back starting. I think Khalil Mack is going to make his
You don't
day
think Fitzpatrick's
living
going to start?
hell. Nah. I
He's got
they're-
3 straight 400 plus games. 400
they're-
plus
I
Yeah,
yards.
he
think
had 3 picks last week.
I know, but that
I
was
think
kind
they're
of
going
a-
to give it back to Jameis.
I can't imagine them doing that.
I think if
I'm-
Fitzpatrick
With the
didn't
season
throw-
that they started,
I think if Fitzpatrick had another huge game like he did the first few weeks last night, those 3 picks in the first half, I guarantee that made the coaches
just
go,
feel like
we might have to put Jameis back into the
I
starter."
just feel like the players are behind Fitzpatrick a little bit more.
They are, which, yeah. This is going to be rough, which is why I'm taking the Bears.
Tampa
Sin-
Bay, for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, I'm
For
rocking.
sure.
I'm rocking with the Bears.
Why for sure?
Just like, hey, let him make
Why-
the pick,
just-
Malik.
The Bears struggled against the Cardinals last week.
But they just
they
keep
won.
figuring out ways to
Yeah.
win. That's the
Barely.
thing. They just
But
keep
they-
figuring out
I don't know if they're
ways.
really going against stiff competition.
And Big Ben was
That's my
lighting-
question.
Big Ben was lighting them up last
All right,
night, so I
sin-
don't really trust that secondary.
Cincinnati Bengals at Atlanta.
Atlanta, Cincinnati failed me last week. Andy
Yeah,
Dalton,
I'm going Atlanta too, Malik.
Atlanta.
Andy Dalton came back.
I mean,
to,
Cincinnati's going to
Is
get a
AJ
win.
Green out?
yeah, I believe
I
he still
didn't-
might be.
I think he's probably doubtful.
Atlanta. Calvin Ridley came out last week.
He
Man,
did. He did. He played well.
Tyler Boyd looked pretty good though for Cincinnati.
He did.
But Andy Dalton did not.
Seattle at Arizona.
Seattle.
Give me
this is Josh
Arizona.
Rosen's first start.
Give me Arizona.
This is
Upset
Ja-
pick in Arizona.
Okay.
Seattle's coming off a nice win, but I think they're going to look past Arizona, and that's when Josh is going to take over.
This is Josh Rosen's first start. Seattle took advantage of a very vanilla, weak Cowboys offense. Does Josh Rosen have
No.
a coming out party versus the Seattle Seahawks?
No.
Who aren't the old Seattle Seahawks?
No, but they still have some good players
This
there.
game is in Arizona.
Still got Earl Thomas back there.
Earl Thomas seems like he
Malik is trying to talk
He's out.
himself into this
He
pick.
got an interception. You just pick the Cardinals.
He
Just
did.
do it. Go for it.
Pick the Cardinals.
I'm
Malik.
cool with it.
I'm
Malik,
taking Arizona.
let's go.
Yeah, good job, guys.
Taking Arizona. David Johnson.
America's team, the Cleveland Browns, versus the Oakland
Let's
Raiders.
rewind about 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And America's team,
Well,
insert.
Cleveland Browns.
Jesus Christ. Oh, man.
No. Well,
I can't
They
root
won.
For,
They
I can't
won,
root. I
man.
can't
They
root for
did.
the Browns anymore because they
I can't.
announced Baker Mayfield as the starter.
Well, Baker played phenomenal. Come
Whoa,
on,
phenomenal.
phenomenal.
Did you say you can't root for the Browns because they
No,
See
I'm,
that
I'm a
he-
Tyrod Taylor fan.
Baker Mayfield is Baker. That's like me being a Geno. That's like me being a Geno Smith fan.
Oh,
Almost.
no,
It's
no,
almost
no,
there.
it's not
It's
that
almost.
bad.
It's
Tyrod
almost
is
there.
playing in the NFL
Tyrod has been efficient
ever since
for
he's played.
some years.
All right. Let's get back to it.
What-
Cleveland at Oakland. I'm taking the Browns. I don't trust John Gruden.
Do the Raiders get their first win this week?
Do the Raiders get their first win this week? That's the question.
Or do the Browns get their second win in a row?
I'm riding the Cleveland wave when it comes to picks.
Cleveland's defense has looked pretty good.
Joe, I need picks out of you, man. Come on.
Let's go with Oakland.
Okay. Malik.
Try to make these points up.
Derek Carr and Jordy Nelson looks like a combination that could be deadly.
It's in the making.
Jordy Nelson was really showing some stuff in Miami. And if Amari Cooper plays and they are all working together, Oakland gets their first win. I still think Baker plays very well, but Oakland wins it in the end.
New Orleans at the New York Giants. The G-Men.
Is that who you're picking?
Nah, give me the Saints.
Yeah, that's probably a smart choice. I'm picking the Saints too.
Malik,
Drew Brees.
give him the Saints.
Drew Brees.
All right.
Their
San
offense.
Francisco at the Chargers. I'm taking the
Why'd
Chargers.
you say the Chargers like they were
The
in Brooklyn?
Chargers.
The Brooklyn Chargers.
The Brooklyn Chargers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, give me the Chargers.
San Francisco, they lost their
Yeah,
starting
Jimmy.
running back. They lost their starting
they're
quarterback
beat
now.
up.
They're in
Poor
trouble.
CJ Beathard.
Can I just do this
Poor
for everybody?
CJ Beathard.
We're all picking the Chargers here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
since in LA, right?
Yep.
Do we even know who San Francisco's starting quarterback's gonna
No
be?
idea.
CJ Beathard,
Oh.
Oh, that's who it is. Okay.
the guy that started before Garoppolo.
I saw that there's a lot of talk for San Francisco to sign Colin Kaepernick.
That'd be awesome.
That would be insane.
I think I saw that
Um,
on like Bleacher Report or something.
Baltimore at Pittsburgh. That's
Baltimore.
you think?
Yeah. Pittsburgh still.
At
They
home, Roethlisberger, though.
Pittsburgh came out pretty strong Monday night, but they did not finish well. I think Baltimore's looked better this season.
I'm taking Pittsburgh. Ben Roethlisberger at home. It's a true stat. I'm taking.
What does Baltimore's defense look like so far?
Pretty good. I mean, it's not like
sli-
crazy,
Slightly above average.
but it's been
Yeah,
pretty solid.
I didn't even watch their highlights from
Their
this past
offense
game.
has been
Did they
playing.
win on Sunday?
Oh shoot, I think so.
Yeah,
Their,
they won.
their offense has been playing actually really well for not having really a running game.
Because I don't trust
They won 27-14
against.
the Broncos. They're 2-1.
I don't trust Joe Flacco week to week to be very good. Give me Pittsburgh at home.
What?
Thank you.
Come on, man.
And then our
Joe
last
Flacco
game,
is a
Super Bowl
solid
MVP.
quarterback.
Kansas City
And
Chiefs.
he made a great run.
Kansas City Chiefs at the Denver Broncos.
Chiefs.
Patrick Mahomes,
Chiefs.
soon to be MVP of the NFL. Give me the Chiefs.
Case Keenum is gonna let. No, I was just kidding. The Chiefs.
I mean, I don't know
man.
I don't know how long Mahomes can keep it up, but man, their offense is scary.
Yeah, that is one of the biggest surprises to me this NFL season is how well Kansas City has played, how well Patrick has played. Man, we are halfway through the show. We've been just talking football. That's a good thing, man.
I'm looking forward to coming in as the winner next week. I'm really
We'll see. Yeah, we'll
looking
give
forward to
the
it.
updated win standings week by week. See who comes out
Yeah,
on
I'm trying
top.
to think of what odd pick. Oh, the Bears.
Joey didn't have any feelings this week, so I'm
We'll
feeling
see.
good.
No. I thought
feeling
he did
good.
have a few.
I mean, I always had the feelings about the Lions.
Oh yeah. Moving on though.
What is that show? You always have to feel.
Jimmy Butler.
My new sitcom.
Like we talked about on last week's show, Jimmy Butler has requested a trade, and he will be traded probably within this week. Woj,
You think this week?
Adrian Wojnarowski, posted an article about teams interested in trading for Jimmy Butler. Interesting enough, with how bad the Pistons' finances are, they were listed as a team interested in making a trade for Jimmy Butler.
Interested.
The teams listed were the Brooklyn Nets, Houston Rockets, Los Angeles Clippers, Miami Heat, Philadelphia 76ers, later added the Cleveland Cavaliers. I want to get your guys' take on this, where you think Jimmy's going to end up. What's your take on the trade request and how it's been handled through the front office? Just kind of give me your overall feeling of this whole storyline. I'll start with you, Malik.
Honestly, I'm really not sure where Jimmy's going to end up with that list of teams. It's really just a toss up at this point. I'm sure we're going to be surprised with wherever
I
he
will
goes.
say, Woj did add on to his tweet that the Sacramento Kings want to be involved to take on a contract, probably the Gorgie Jang contract that Minnesota wants to get out of, so they can Sacramento can acquire a pick. Also, Woj added that the Miami Heat have been in aggressive pursuit of Jimmy Butler. So for me right now, my favorite to land Jimmy Butler goes in the order 1, 2, 3 is Miami, the Clippers, and Brooklyn. But if the Pistons, like they talked about at media
No
day,
chance.
like they talked about at media day,
What
and I
would-
know Joey's going to get into it. The time is now for the Pistons, right, Joe? The time is now.
What would Brooklyn give Minnesota for them to?
They got assets.
Get
I
Jimmy.
mean, Brooklyn's got
I got
assets.
tons of just
Spencer
stuff.
Dinwiddie's already a good
They have
good
random
player.
stuff.
Damari Carroll's a solid vet. They have good vets.
They
young
might be okay
players
with
and
dealing
picks.
D'Angelo Russell at this point.
Oh, I think they would be. I think they like Spencer a little bit
I
better.
hate to see him in Brooklyn. I
Who,
really
Jimmy?
would. I'd
Yeah.
hate to see him there.
Joe, what's your take on this whole thing, though? What's your take on the Jimmy Butler situation and the Pistons' reported interest?
I'm not super surprised. Like, obviously, we've been kind of tracking it that Jimmy Butler has had a lot of issues with the Timberwolves.
I'm more surprised that the Pistons were actually listed initially as one of those main teams interested in making a deal.
Well, I mean, the Pistons have been trying to push for different deals for a while now. Like, they've been talked in the Kemba Walker rumors and
Kemba just said he wants to stay in Charlotte.
Everyone
different.
says
Like,
that,
the Pistons
though.
have been in a lot of these rumors, and I think they're trying to do something, but like we said multiple times, they don't have anything to really
Now,
give.
I disagree with you. I was doing a lot of. I think I sent it to you guys in the group chat.
A lot of imaginary scenarios.
But here's the thing. I'm gonna go back to my trade that I worked out. That I could see happening.
They gave up Reggie,
Yeah, I got you.
Kennard, Reggie
So it was a
Bullock.
3-team deal. The Pistons acquired Jimmy Butler and Patrick Beverly. The Timberwolves get Reggie Jackson, Luke Kennard, Reggie Bullock, and a 2020 unprotected first round pick. Has to be 2020 because they cannot trade their 2019 pick. And the LA Clippers would get a young point guard in Tyus Jones and a second round pick to the Clippers from the Pistons. Looking back on it, we probably have to replace the Clippers with the Kings, and the Kings getting Gorgie Jang because that seems to be what Minnesota wants to do. But I still think there's a pathway to a deal. It's whether Ed Stefanski and his front office want to strip themselves of every asset they have, because that's what it will cost to get Jimmy Butler. If they trade Luke Kennard, Stanley or Reggie Bullock, and an unprotected first round pick, that's it. You're locking it in. And you're going all in, which is what you're saying. Either way, I'm okay with the decision. I'm okay with them going all in and bringing in Jimmy Butler. I'm also okay with them standing pat and hoping Luke Kennard or Stanley Johnson burst through. I have way more faith. I think Luke Kennard's actually going to be a really good player in the NBA. But yeah, that's kind of my take. Joe, what you got?
I'm okay with
pondering.
I think I'm okay with either one as well. But getting Jimmy Butler is not going to change things.
It won't?
It's
Yes, it
going to
would.
move them up in seedings,
They are instantly a
is-
top 4 team in the Eastern Conference.
but they're not
Instantly.
going to be able to break through those top 3 teams. And I think that's
disagree.
the biggest problem.
I could see Philly taking a step back, and I could see Toronto taking a step back, because you never know if Kawhi is 100% healed until he's on the court. Also, you don't know about chemistry with Toronto. DeMar DeRozan was a bigger part of that community and that locker room than I think people give credit to. And Philadelphia, they played fantastic, but the outside of the top teams in the East, Boston was beat up. Cleveland was a beat up team. Philly kind of took advantage of a weak schedule to finish out the year and finish strong, and I'll give them credit. They did. I could see Philly taking a step back. It's not out of the realm of possibilities of them going from, 52 wins to, I could see them going 48. To me, the East is wide open outside of Boston. If Boston's healthy, they're coming out of the East.
The problem is, like you said, though, if the Pistons go after Jimmy Butler, they're stripped of all their assets, which they already have almost none. They would have no depth whatsoever. Whereas
I think they would.
Boston has good depth. Philly has good depth. Toronto has proved that they've gotten good depth. I don't know if the Pistons would have the same depth that those
They
teams
don't.
have.
And they don't. You're banking on the star power of maybe one of the top front lines in the NBA in Jimmy Butler, Blake Griffin, Andre Drummond.
Even Indiana has solid depth.
Right. And I mean, like, I'm not going to try
The
to take
Pistons
away
would have
that team would be much more exciting than what we have right now.
Yeah. And I think
And that's why I'm okay with either way.
I was gonna say, I think you'd sound a different tune if, let's just say, the trade went through and we got Jimmy Butler. I think it'd be a happy Joe.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would be okay with it. Like, it would make the season exciting.
I think it's already going to be exciting.
It would suck to lose Luke Kennard, but I do think it would make the season more interesting. And we at least at that point would solidify playoffs. Whereas right now it's slightly questionable.
It depends on health. If they're healthy, they'll make the playoffs. But Malik, you got anything you want to add?
If we ended up with Jimmy Butler, we're a playoff team, but I still don't think we're a contender with that.
With the deal?
With that
What
team.
making that happen? Oh, if the Pistons acquired him. Gotcha. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll be following this story. Jimmy Butler likely to be moved probably by week's end, maybe early into next week. Minnesota, Glenn Taylor, their owner, has talked about how they are adamant in getting a deal done. So hopefully this will be resolved by next week. So let's kind of switch gears. I want to touch on Media Day at the end if we have time. I want to get into our preview a little bit, get through those, and then maybe we'll leave some time for any Media Day points we want to talk about. Cool? All right. Boston Celtics is the first team up in our Atlantic Division preview. Last year, they were 55-27, second in the East. And they really didn't do that much this offseason. They added Robert Williams in the draft. They re-signed Marcus Smart, re-signed Aaron Baines. And that was pretty much it. They got healthy. So with that, I want you to give me your kind of season prediction for them, along with can they beat Golden State in a 7-game series if they meet in the finals? Malik?
They have Gordon Hayward healthy. They have Kyrie Irving healthy. Young emerging stars mixed with top-notch veteran bench. They have everything they need to meet Golden State in the finals. I have them winning 63 games. And I think they quite possibly could beat Golden State if everything comes together and everybody stays healthy. I think they could be good enough to. I think Brad Stevens might be able to outcoach Steve Kerr.
That's a good point.
Kyrie Irving has outplayed Steph Curry in a playoff series before.
He has, yes.
You seem a little reluctant on that.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
Joey, what you got?
They're the only chance of the Warriors falling. And it's not a very big chance.
I disagree. I think Houston is also a chance.
No.
I think there's 2 teams.
Yeah.
No. There's nobody else. I think the Celtics are the only chance.
There's nobody else.
And I don't know if it's enough. Obviously, they're going to get 10 times better than they were, which a lot of people are already hyping them up to be good. But now they have Kyrie, one of the most underrated players. Gordon Hayward is back. Hopefully he can stay healthy. And Tatum and Brown get another year under their belts. And this team is definitely going to be dangerous. They play good defense. They play both sides of the ball. They play very well.
And they have toughness, which a lot of teams don't have.
Right. From Terry Rozier, Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
Those guys have a lot of toughness in them. Marcus Morris, that's right. So they have a lot of depth, and they can play multiple guys similar to the Warriors, so they can keep up with the Warriors' rotations.
Are they a first seed in the East for you?
Yeah. I have them winning 60.
Okay.
I don't have them going crazy up, but a little bit.
Yeah, I got them.
And they have Daniel Thies back. He was hurt last year.
Oh my gosh, Malik with all
he was
the little,
playing good.
Malik always brings up
this
end of the bench player that's gonna make a difference.
Daniel Thies was starting for them.
No,
he was the starting center for the Boston
Aaron
Celtics.
Baines. Aaron Baines
was the backup.
No,
Daniel Thies was starting.
No.
Daniel Thies
may have started a game or two when he was injured.
He started some weeks, maybe a month or two.
I don't know. I got him 61-21, first in the East. Championship contender for the Boston Celtics for me. Next up, Brooklyn Nets. They were 28-54 last year, 12th in the East. They added Joe Harris, Ed Davis, Shabazz Napier, Travion Graham, Kenneth Fareed, Jared Dudley, and a Denver's first-round pick. They traded away Timofey Mozgov, Jeremy Lin, Dante Cunningham, and let Nick Stauskas walk. So a lot of movement there, but to me, it's irrelevant movement. Brooklyn's still going to suck. Sorry, I'm keeping it plain. They're trending up because they're keeping up with the rebuild, and Sean Marks is doing a really good job replenishing their assets. So for me, that's why it's trending up. Win-wise, they're trending down. I'm not really that high on Brooklyn this year. I got them winning 27 games, 13th in the Eastern Conference. Malik?
This team is going to be horrible. I think they were a better team last year.
Really?
With Trevor Booker.
Yeah, I could see it.
Nick Stauskas played good at the end of the season,
okay,
which was a shock.
Come on, Michigan.
I said which was a shock.
Chill.
I said which was a shock, which added to wins. Spencer Dinwiddie came on late. They won some surprising games. I don't think anything they added really helps. Can D'Angelo Russell stay healthy? I don't know if his numbers are really going to make a big impact. 18 wins.
Holy smokes. Wow. That's almost historically bad.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, sip your cup of tea that ain't there.
Thought I had some water
Oh
left.
my goodness.
Well. That's a hot take.
That's a Joey Tyson type of hot take. Joey, what you got for your Brooklyn Nets?
Technically, I have them slightly upward
Okay.
in overall record. I think they're still going to be very bad, but there's other teams in the bottom of the East that are just as bad. And if D'Angelo Russell can stay healthy, I think they can figure out a way for D'Angelo and Spencer Dinwiddie to work out. They lost some role players in the offseason. They gained some role players in the offseason. They didn't really get anything from it, but I think they're going to be okay as far as bottom of the barrel goes. They're young. They got a little bit of upside.
I think they're the worst of the worst.
Some of their younger players
Honestly.
look decent. They're just looking for next summer. That's all they're looking at.
How many wins?
I have them at 29.
What
53.
finish? What do you finish? Do you think they're not going to contend for a playoff spot?
I think they're going to be ahead of the Knicks.
Okay. That leads us perfect transition there, Joe. The New York Knicks. Next up, they were 29-53, 11th in the East last year. They added David Fizdale, new head coach, Kevin Knox to the draft, who I think is going to be a stud, Mitchell Robinson, who I also think is going to be a stud. They did really well in the draft. Added Mario Hezonja, who will probably be out of the league in 2 or 3 years. Noah Vonleh, same with him. And they added Alonzo Trier to a 2-way contract, which I really like him too. And their really only loss was they fired Jeff Hornacek. And maybe Kristaps Porzingis might be out for 2/3 of the season, pretty close with that torn ACL. Knicks are trending up with all the moves they've made off the floor. They're going to trend down on the court, kind of just like Brooklyn. Kevin Knox is going to be really good. Mitchell Robinson is going to be really good. No, Kristaps Porzingis is going to hurt a lot. I got him 24 wins, 14th in the East. Not expecting much, but they'll be exciting to watch with their rookies. What you got, Malik?
I'll say you don't play Kristaps Porzingis
Yeah.
this year. Don't play him. Let the young guys develop and play together. I say you give Hezonja opportunities because he's so much more talented than Noah Vonleh.
I think the biggest thing for the Knicks,
I think if you give him opportunities, he could show
the one thing
that he's a real talent.
I think the Knicks need to see this year I think probably the most important thing on their agenda is having Frank Ntilikina
Haven't run the offense.
make a step and have him be able to be a contributor on the offensive side as well as the defensive, be able to kind of create shots off the dribble.
Have Ntilikina run the offense, give Kevin Knox shots, let Mitchell Robinson run the floor, get rebounds.
Let Mitchell Robinson
Let him learn the NBA game because he didn't play in college.
If I'm New York, I have Mitchell Robinson model his game off Clint Capella. He is built in that same mold, that type of player. If he can specialize what Clint has specialized, the Knicks might have something special next to Kristaps.
Exactly. I have them with 22 wins, which they should hope for,
Pretty
so they
low.
can get a top 3 pick
Yeah.
and potentially get a RJ Barrett type of guy. So
Yeah, 22.
positive signs because the young players, I believe, will show
It might
progress.
be a good year for Kristaps not to play. So yeah.
Team won't be that great, but they'll show signs.
Yeah, Joey, what you got?
I agree with both of you. I think they made really good moves in the offseason, but it's not going to help their record. It's going to make their record worse, mostly because Kristaps, I believe, as well, is going to sit the whole season. I don't think they're going to play him. The outlook is not very good right now, and people are unsure about how to go about these ACLs with a 7'3" player and the way that he plays the game. I'm sure they'll stay very concerned because they want him to be the franchise player. I agree that Ntilikina needs to step up. I think you're going to see Tim Hardaway Jr. actually be like the leader of this team. As weird as that sounds.
That sounds extremely weird.
And that's why I don't think it's a
but
good thing.
because of their mold, that's how it's going to work out. And so I think he's going to actually have a pretty good season. But they definitely need to – they're going to have a lot of growing pains.
Yeah.
And I have them with 25 wins. And they're also looking to next summer as a big
Definitely.
offseason. for
This
them.
is kind of just a year they got to get through before they start to build back up as a franchise.
Yep.
Moving on, the Philadelphia 76ers, trust the process. Huge surprise last year. They were a middle-of-the-pack playoff team for the long period of time. After the All-Star break, they kicked it into high gear. Finished the year 52-30, third in the Eastern Conference, above LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. This summer, they added Zaire Smith, Landry Shamet through the draft, Wilson Chandler through trade, Mike Muscala through trade, and they retained J.J. Redick on a 1-year deal along with Amir Johnson. They traded away Justin Anderson, Timothy Luau, Marco Bellinelli went to San Antonio, and Ersan Ilyasova went back to Milwaukee.
That's some hard pronunciation on
You
Luau.
see that? You see that? I've been working.
Very hard
I've been
pronunciation.
working. This team, they're interesting to me.
I'm happy you feel that way because I feel the exact same way.
I don't know whether to buy in completely or to start to sell a little bit of their stock heading into this year, this second year with Simmons and Embiid at the helm. I say they're trending up. I think they'll take a little bit of a win jump with LeBron out of the East. I got them 55-27, second in the Eastern Conference, but with an asterisk by it because Markelle Fultz, I'm not sure if they say he changed his shot and looks a lot better. I'll believe it when I see it. Joel Embiid, if he plays all year, then I can start taking away that injury concern from him, but he still needs to play this season for me not to be worried about it. 55-27, second in the East. Joey.
I agree again. I think I'm still trusting the process, but I'm starting to I'm trying to figure out how much higher they can get. Like, what's their cap? Obviously, Ben Simmons is still growing. He's going to be a solid player, a great player in the league for a while. And obviously, as well, the big question mark is, can Fultz play? Can he get into his mental state? Can he figure out the NBA game? Because he could be a very integral part to this team. And they lost a couple pieces in Ilyasova and Bellinelli, I think, were the bigger losses.
Bellinelli really helped them in the playoffs. He was a huge thing for them.
Right. Getting J.J. Redick back was big. I like the Wilson Chandler move, but they're close. But it is weird. Like, you have a weird feeling about this team. Definitely need to see Embiid play more minutes. That's the only way that I see them really making a run, is they got to get him going to where he's in shape to play heavy minutes.
What you got for win total?
53-29.
What place do you think in the East?
Probably.
You got Toronto ahead of them?
Yeah, I do.
So probably third?
Yeah, probably.
Malik, what you got for Philadelphia?
Like you said, this is an interesting team because I have more questions than just full answers for this team. Like you both mentioned Markelle Fultz. Will he reach his potential? Joey, you said they're close, but how close are they? When will this team make a run? They have same Brett Brown.
And when will they reach their peak?
Yeah, same Brett Brown, essentially the same team, minus Ersan Ilyasova and a huge help that they had
did
from Marco
lose
Bellinelli.
Essentially their defensive coordinator in Lloyd Pierce.
Yeah,
He went to Atlanta. He was a big part of their defense, so that's another thing.
So you essentially have the same core, same coach, who got outcoached in the playoffs last year.
It was his first time there, though.
Yeah, Simmons and Embiid, we hope they both ascend even more. Like you said, they got J.J. Redick back, which is big. This is a really good team, but I don't know how far they can go.
What you got
Is this an Eastern Conference Final team?
Yeah.
Is this a team that gets put out of the second round again? I'm not sure. I have them winning 50 games in the regular season.
I actually like, too, that, sorry to cut you off.
No problem.
That they don't have Ben Simmons shooting threes. I like that they didn't push that on him.
I'd like him to be able to hit one every once in a while.
He should be free throw line, mid-range at the most.
Yeah. Apparently he's been improving his shot, but he said to not expect any threes, which I think is a good thing, unlike some people on the Pistons.
Andre should be shooting threes.
Okay. Malik, go ahead and finish. Sorry. That was just a thought that popped in my head.
But yeah, you said 50 wins?
Yeah, so 50 wins. They're still a 50-win team, still really good. Embiid and Ben Simmons could both be... Wait, Embiid was All-Star reserve last year, was he?
Yeah, he was an All-Star.
Okay. Well, Embiid and Simmons make it in together for the first time.
Okay.
They show everybody they can both carry a team to 50 wins, but when it gets to the playoffs,
you're just not sure about them.
We'll have to see how they are later in the season for me to determine what they are because,
Gotcha.
I'm not sure at this point.
All right, and our last team, couple minutes left in the show here, Toronto Raptors, 59-23 last year, first in the East. They had a busy offseason. Added Nick Nurse at head coach, Kawhi Leonard, Danny Green, retained Fred VanVleet, added our boy Kay Felder and Greg Monroe. They lost DeMar DeRozan, Jakob Poeltl, and reigning coach of the year, your very own Detroit Pistons head coach, Dwayne Casey. They are trending down for me.
So you're telling me Kay Felder's not going to play for them?
He'll play for Toronto's G League team.
He'll play in the G League.
Disappointing.
He won't play in the regular season.
But I think chemistry is the biggest thing for me. That's why I have him trending down. I could be totally wrong because this team has the potential of being a top team in the conference, being a number 1 seed again. I'm also not sold on Nick Nurse. I'm not sure how I feel about him. First-time head coach coaching this group. There's a lot of ifs, and they could combust. I got him third in the East, 53-29. Malik, give me with the short summary of your Toronto Raptors.
Like you said, Nick Nurse is one of my biggest questions, but he's been in the organization, so he knows how those things go. And it's not like it's a whole new culture being brought in. It's basically going to be like they're doing the same thing. The players know what they're doing. They know what the system is. Kyle Lowry is going to lead that team, and they know what it is. So adding Danny Green and Kawhi Leonard, throwing them in as the 2 and 3. Honestly, they might be rough in the beginning, but I think once we get to midseason around All-Star break, I think they'll be rolling. Fred VanVleet and DeLon Wright are really good young backup guards. Essentially the same team minus DeMar DeRozan, who was a huge loss.
Yeah.
He was the face of Toronto, but adding Danny Green and Kawhi Leonard can only help.
So you got their win
You
total.
still have Valanciunas, you still have Ibaka. I have them winning 52 games.
Okay.
Still going to be a top 5 team in the East.
For sure. Joey?
And could be scary
Yeah.
once they get to the end of the season. Could be scary.
I think Danny Green was a perfect pickup for them.
Yep.
Within that trade. I think it really helps out the shooting needs that they might need. And if Kawhi Leonard is healthy, that's an upgrade from DeMar DeRozan, technically. I love DeMar. I think he's it's going to be a culture change for sure. But obviously it's going to be, like Chris said, what's their chemistry going to look like? I think overall they're going to stay just as good. I think they might have a couple mishaps maybe right off the gate, but I still have them winning 55 games. I think they're going to be a super strong team later in the season as long as Kawhi is healthy. He looks like he's at least committed enough to play for them this year, whereas before it was a little bit up in the air. So that's a little bit scary if he's starting to look motivated on this team.
Yeah, if Kyle Lowry has a slump like he usually has sometimes, Danny Green knockdown 3-point shooter, Kawhi Leonard instant offense, especially when he's fully healthy, and OG Anunoby, who's apparently going to be a top 100 player this year, he could be a really good 6th man.
Oh yeah,
he has a lot of talent.
I'm big on OG. Joey, what's your win total?
55. I said it.
Oh, I missed it. All right. Well, that's our Atlantic Division preview. Unfortunately, we don't have much time to touch on training camp. But we'll make sure to try to fit that into the show next week. And
we'll just get a few standout things from each of us.
I mean, we got 40 seconds, so
2
I
minutes,
mean,
a minute, half.
Essentially a minute. All right, go for it, Malik.
Well,
you got something to say.
LeBron was completely honest. Said they're not on the level of Golden State yet. It's going to take a while for them to gel. Maybe they might not do it this year.
So LeBron's making excuses now.
Honest.
All right, LeBron, I see you.
Joey, any takeaways? Quick takeaways?
Media day was weird. There's a lot of weird things.
Kawhi Leonard.
If anybody wants, just go to ESPN and look up all the media day things, especially like Enes Kanter or Kawhi Leonard.
Don't watch Kawhi Leonard laugh. It'll give you nightmares.
Yeah, it's a little bit creepy.
But yeah, I mean
or do it.
That's true. Well, that's it for the show this week. Next week we will talk about the Pacific Division, our Lakers preview, Warriors previews, and then Clippers and a bunch of those other teams. And then the week after we'll hit the Central Division, give our official Pistons previews, along with break down another Lions loss next week.
And we're going to talk about how the Lions have won 2 in a row and
you
are
gotta
trending
have some
upwards.
confidence.
I wish I had confidence, man. All right,
Especially after that game.
we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Kawhi Leonard might be an android.